Nature to me is my happy place. It's where I go to get away from all things stressful.
Nature to me is like the source that we're all connected to and that we can all plug into.
Nature is just the experience that I have or anyone has with the outdoors in a way that's gives them peace and tranquility and a step away from the normal day-to-day lives that we have in civilization.
I think nature is our mother. It's like we came from nature. We are part of nature, so it's hard to explain. It's like our mother is like our creator, could be God.
Nature, it's like the absence of a lot of people, a lot of noise. It's the absence of the city. It's being in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by the forest or at the beach, where it's really peaceful and chill.
Only started mushroom hunting a couple of years ago. I have friends who have been mushrooming for years. I love mushrooms, but for some reason I was never curious enough to say, take me. And then what I realized a couple years ago is you're never too old to find new passions, because I had a friend take me mushrooming and I was in heaven, absolute heaven.
It forced me to be really present in the moment, and I think in that way it feels meditative because you're on the water, you're surrounded by nature, and you have to stay really in the moment.
I love going to another country and instead of staying in like one of the big cities, finding like the remote areas in the middle of nature and going there.
I enjoy it because, well, I can just look at this. It's like it's a very beautiful place, and there are also many other natural places in Arequipa, around Peru, that I can visit because it's my work.
He loves being on the board, and it's the one time he doesn't yap or bark or he really is. It transforms him into a super calm dog, and he just is kind of in a meditative state. You know, he wants to be outside. He wants to be, if he's not running, he wants to just be on a board, gliding down the river.
Ooh, as a young child, I always really liked to hike, and my mom would take me on lots of hikes. When I was really little, I rode in her backpack. And so I like hiking because your whole mind has to focus on it. A lot of times if you're doing like a steep hike, you're focused on like breathing, getting through it, and then on the way down I used to always love to run, and when you trail run, especially downhill, your whole entire mind has to focus on that. You have to focus on where your foot's going, so it's a great way to clear your head, and it's fun.
But I did enjoy spending a lot of time either in the water. I grew up in Hawaii as a little girl, swimming in the ocean, a lot of time at the beach. Just kind of running around unsupervised, unstructured time.
I used to go to the countryside most of the time because my grandparents used to work in the countryside, used to have farms. So I really love all the time that we went to the farm. It was nice to see the crops, the greenness, and how the people work in agriculture. I think probably that's why I started to like nature since I was a kid, because I was close to the agriculture, to the farming.
We went with our guide, Julio. He was a really nice man, and one thing I noticed about him was that he made a point to bring a trash bag with him, and he picked up litter the entire time we were walking around the nature preserve. And that was really interesting to me because in America, you'll see litter on the trail sometimes, but you won't necessarily see people picking it up. So it seems like people here really care about Pachamama, aka Mother Earth, and they do their part to try to keep Mother Earth clean.
I feel good when I clean a little bit, and I think if we clean a little bit, if everybody try to clean a little bit, so at the end it's gonna be a big help. Anytime that people visit or natural places or go to the beach or to the mountains, wherever. Don't litter and keep all the garbage back. No?
When you take somebody else and they find that first mushroom and they get it, somebody who loves nature and can appreciate being oneness with the earth, like when you bring them out and you see that spark in their eye, it's pretty incredible.
Peru, I've always been drawn to Peru. You know, I've heard about Machu Picchu since I was a kid. I even there's this like video game on my phone, this like mountain biking, or it's like a motorcycling video game, and one of the levels, or like it's like a whole world with like 24 different levels, takes place in Machu Picchu, and I've been playing that game since I was like 15, and so it's kind of funny that I've been, you know, playing this video game that takes place in Machu Picchu, and so when I saw I had the opportunity to go to Peru, I was like, wow, that sounds incredible.
Anytime there's a new burn, I don't know how long it takes them to grow. I think 1 to 2 years after the burn, the morels start to grow in places in burnt forests. So you're not going to find them like when you go mushrooming for chanterelles. It's different terrain. And the burn for me is really, I think, special and symbolic, and might be why I love hunting morels so much right now. It's the new growth. It's like you're in a burn, but you've got all this greenery and growth and these live mushrooms growing out of the ground that you're going to take in home and eat and nourish. And I've had my share of troubles with my health, and I am on a journey to find radiant health again. And I feel like all this new growth and these mushrooms coming out of the ground is just symbolic that can be found in something that feels burnt or lost or dead, and that I don't know, when I'm in these burnt forests finding these things, it's just magical.
You know that I'm really grateful for the opportunity to have access to nature. I know that's not always the case for everyone, and I try not to take it for granted. I'm really appreciative that I am able to get out into nature like pretty much every day if I want to. I hope that I'm going to be one of those old ladies out in the woods still hiking with, I'll have my sticks, you know, my hiking poles, which I already use sometimes, and I'll just be going for it. Sometimes I'll be by myself and sometimes I'll be with a friend or a partner, I don't know, but I would definitely want to keep spending time in nature, and I want to stay active. Or maybe I'll get more adventurous by then.
I'm kidding. Well, in 70 years, I'll be 94 years old. In 60 years, I'll be 84. I might not be as spry, but I hope to still be getting out in nature as much as I can. Just like my grandma, she's 82, I believe, and she still runs a hiking group. So I plan to be just like her. I plan to hike as much as I can, to bike as much as I can, even if I need my kids and grandkids to help carry me along. Or maybe I'll have like a motorized wheelchair or something. But either way, I plan to be in nature as much as I can in 60 years and still traveling around to other countries as well.
Fake hip a couple of years ago. That kind of limited my running, but it's sort of my replacement for running. It kind of gives me the same sort of satisfaction, kind of gliding along. A lot of the times you're next to running trails anyway, so you kind of feel like you're out there with the runners. And to be here in 20 years, hopefully doing a 20-year update story.
I have climbed so high.